Lasita saw recently, and before we even get started, because some people are coming on a little bit later. Taoufik, did you send Gordon the link?
On the way.
Okay, great. And Tim learned it too. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I think that I never realized how much we did till Kristin came on that time. You know what, Lasita, when I listened to Kristin and what she had to say, it really touched my heart. And now Kristin, who was, for those of you who don't know, she was an addict and she was a alcoholic. And she had her own child taken away from her. If that's not bad enough, thank God we got her mother in there to get the child out. She was on the way to the wedding and she let her, I shouldn't say it's not only her fault, but they let the little daughter, hi, there she is, my sweetie. The little daughter was, yeah, and she lived through hell. And you see what this girl looks like right now? Hi, Pablo. Mwah, mwah, mwah. And this wonderful couple, not only have they changed, and the title of her book, if you can ever rope her down, since it's for more than 3 minutes to write, the title of her book will be she said something about from living in a car.
Lynn, you said Gordon, who's else?
Tim Learned.
Okay.
From living in a car to going far. So Kristin is my success story. And you know what? When I first heard her do that, I always knew that we were good. I'm not talking about Lynn. It's not about Lynn or about Lasita or about George or about Will. Or Taoufik. This has to do with what have we done for other people. It's not about what can LK do for us. What have we done for other people? And that's where I saw the beauty in Saving Souls Women's Network, because I can't even begin to tell you, and I'm not mentioning names, but Kristin knows some of them. I'm telling you right now, we have counseled at least 40% of the people who run DC. It doesn't matter who they are, they all needed help. Free counseling to get them out of their thing. And what makes me proudest of Kristin and Pablo, he's much more accessible than she is, and I love you to pieces, Pablo. She's lucky if she gives me a minute or two. He wanted help. She wanted help. They had children. They had a reason. They had a wonderful mother. Kristin, I don't know if Pablo's mother. Kristin had a wonderful mother who came in and saved the day by taking Gabby. So, but what makes me proudest of this couple is they didn't sit back and say, oh, look what the system did to us. Instead, she became a counselor. He got 2 jobs. They're back there with their kids. So I'm going to let Kristin start. Just tell us, and Pablo, 3 or 4 minutes of how life feels now that you're on the sunny side of the street.
Life is so great now. I feel so happy with the way things are going. Yeah, I'm graduating from my drug and alcohol studies this semester. I'm going to be a drug and alcohol counselor, so I can help others that are struggling with the same addiction problem that I've struggled with. And I feel so good to be giving back to everyone, and to be of support, a positive influence, and share my strength and hope with them. And I'm just doing my best. I mean, some days are rough, but we still get through it, and we don't pick up no matter what, and we just keep moving forward. And that's what it's about.
And she doesn't look anything like she looked at that time. At that time, she looked like she hadn't washed her hair in a month, though I'm not one to talk because my hair is gone. She looked like every day like she could get up. He always looked okay, but she looked like, I can't get it. She didn't blame her family. She blamed herself, which to me is the most miraculous thing, because she took it upon herself to blame herself. And the reason I love them is because now they not only do that, but the other one, Pablo, he's on there with his little girl, daddy's little girl. He's helping his brothers. He's helping his son. He's all out there helping everyone. And Kristin's kids, however she wants to call it, is going to be in California, and they won't need funding. I'll tell you why, Kristin, because I've already spoken to Tim. He's going to help you in any way you can, money-wise, as far as the projects. See, your projects aren't going to be expensive. When you come to New York, which I'm aiming for October, because it's always good to hit them before Thanksgiving. George and I will take you, and we'll do a fundraising, probably in that church, George, that I love in Lexington Avenue, All Souls. We will do a
06.
fundraiser like you'll never see. Your money is needed for
Okay.
projects for children. But your
Yes.
foundation must be set up over there and your brother will help you. I've already spoken to him.
Okay. And Pablo would like to say a few things.
I want Pablo to say a lot of things. Go ahead, honey.
Hello,
Look at
everybody.
that
My name is
face.
Pablo.
And I love him.
I just want to say I'm a different person from 2.5 years ago. I have a steady job, a full-time job. I'm able to be a father today to my son and my daughter and my stepkids. And I just want to thank my support system, Lynn, Taoufik, Vicky, Kristin. I can go on more and more, but I just want to give a lot of thanks. I'm just thankful today for all the help and support.
And look at you, and look how great. Where's Gabby's picture? You're supposed to give me a picture every time you see me with Gabby. I don't see, I can't see anything. Where is my Gabby?
She's at school.
Okay, so before anybody else comes in, this is very important. I need pictures. We're going to make Samantha be Miss May. We have poster children now, so every month. So the first poster child was Gabby, who is to die for. She's gorgeous. The next poster child will be for May, and her name is Samantha Learned, who has also from that family, who has a wonderful art talent. And so they're going to send me Sam's artwork. Let's make them all feel good. We'll have a child a month and we'll make them all feel. I got some things that, your mother, she said to me, oh, I hope I can carry them home. I said, Vicky, I didn't buy them 5 tons of things. I bought them the kids' journal notes so they can write what they feel for Bradley and the girls. I bought for Gabby, don't ask what I bought. Mickey Mouse. He has all kinds of stupid things. When it comes to a kid, I lose complete control. You think I'll be able to carry it home? I said, we won't need an Uber to carry it home. Take my word. I made it light and easy. We love her, but we know what she's like. Okay, so I'm just waiting for 2 people and I'm ready to rock and roll. So the support that we see, I myself, I'll talk about me. I hate talking about me, but Denzel's friend is laughing. I'll talk about me because when I was going in for surgery, I had the mastectomy, a single mastectomy, and a lumpectomy, and a partridge in a pear tree. So when I went in for that surgery, that's the attitude I had. After the surgery, she's going to smile. After the surgery, I got a beautiful little note from my friend Lasita. She's also a sponsor of Lynn's Kids and Saving Souls. And she said to me, Lynn, and anybody who knows me knows that this is true. I hope you're not doing too much. I said, I wish I could do too much. I said, I can hardly move, but I promised I was getting up. So I'm getting more sleep now than I did in the past 2 years. So I love the kind soul that you are, Lasita. People like you, people like Will who checked in, people like George who said all his prayers, people like Kristin and Pablo who checked in. Though every day, those are the people that really count, not the ones who came on occasionally. Like, what can Lynn do for me? All of you are the ones who showed how you cared. So I think that when we listen to this, and Lasita will send me back everything. When we listen to this later on, if we know people who fund, we just send. Like I said, Kristin is funded. I have somebody in New Jersey who is funding Lynn's Kids New Jersey. So I don't need funding for these people. I'm using funding. I could use funding for Lynn's Kids New York. And like I said, afterwards, if some people couldn't make it, they'll hear it on the thing. I don't wait all day for funders. They should wait for me. I'm as busy, if not busier than they are. So without ado, because I'm going to send this whole thing to funders when I'm finished. Without ado, let's start with, and I just want you to all know right now, why do you make, I have to just add a little brevity before important people come on, although I think we're very important. Why do you make a shopping list for men if men don't look at the list when they go shopping? That is the question of the day, Will. I send him a list with a list to go to get things. Comes home with the stuff that I asked, but nothing, at least a good 3 or 4 things. And then I comes out and I said to him, where are the rest of the things? Oh, I forgot to check my list. This is the question of the day. Why bother giving a man a shopping list if he doesn't bother looking at it? Okay, we're adding a little lot. Do you have a comment to that, Mr. Taoufik? You don't want to talk now. Okay, Taoufik for some reason became shy and he wants to talk less. Hallelujah! Can you imagine living with me? You have to be shy. Okay, so we're going to start, and I'm going to record this and send it to the donors, even if they come in. You don't have to know. So I'm going to send this to somebody who looks like he's having an out of body experience. I'm going to ask him to talk first. This young man who I met many, many years ago, I'm still not 100% sure where I met him. I try to fix him up with many girls. Dr. Loves is in the house. I also, and anybody who knows me knows that I really do this stuff. That's why I love the hospital. I had a wonderful experience. They didn't want me to leave because they were laughing so hard. My doctor said they haven't done any work while you're here. I said that's not my problem. So I met Oshri. Oshri is a talented artist and a wonderful writer. What I want him to talk, because like I said, this is going to fund us. What I want you to talk about is the book you wrote, the one I love, the reason you wrote it. He's also a social activist, a social justice writer. He's like Lynn, writes for causes, doesn't make much money, but he gets his causes out there. So without further ado, Lynn is going to be quiet. You can mute me. I know for a long time, Lasita, you wanted to mute me, so mute me. And Oshri, tell us about your books, your causes, your art, etc. Hit it.
Hi, thanks, Lynn. Good to be here with you and to meet some of you who I haven't met before. And let's see, in a nutshell, I work with NAMI Westside Los Angeles, which is a grassroots mental health advocacy organization. They have chapters around the country. And I have a little over 20 different titles out right now, ranging from connecting social causes or connecting people, reminding that people that we're all slices of the tree of life, to books that are more seriously presented, like suicide prevention. I have books about using creativity to process tough emotions. So all of my books touch on mental health, mindfulness, and also have, maybe Lynn, I can share it with you, but I have a link that I've created for NAMI, a children's mental health toolbox that includes
Wonderful.
coloring, affirmation sheets, activity packets that anyone can just print out and use as curriculum
Share
for
it with
kids.
Taoufik.
Okay,
Share it with Taoufik, okay?
I'll send that. Yeah, so that's really what I'm passionate about. I love the medium of a children's book because there's something about the need to distill a message down to its simplest core components visually and verbally that I really like, and I think it fits in quite a fast-paced, frenzied world where we're bombarded with so much information. So it gets me to think, well, what's the most important thing I can share? I have a couple more titles I'm almost done with the book that I think Lynn really liked was called Stay Alive. I usually
Yes.
recommend that book for like 12 and older, but I got
Yes.
a prompt to create something for suicide prevention for like 12 and younger, because this does touch especially 10-year-olds, 10, 11, 12-year-olds.
Wonderful. What a
Um,
book.
so there's another book that I'm almost completed with called Life Rocks, and that's more age appropriate for younger kids, and it doesn't mention suicide as explicitly as the other one, so it's a little more appropriate, a little softer. So yeah, that's in a nutshell, that's who I am, what I'm focused on with most of my hours these days. And yeah, no, Lynn, we've known each other. We met
Forever.
through work in
Another
Sierra
life.
Leone. Yeah, it's been about 15 years. It must be about 14, 15 years.
Whenever
Yeah.
we get together, all we do is laugh. It's going to be like you will. It's like a fun experience. I love him because he does a lot of things for other people. It's not what can this project do for me. It's what can this project do for others. And that's a Lynn thing. If you're here to see what I can do for you, you're in the wrong place. Leave right now. But if you're here to see what you can do to help children in the world, my focus is women and children. Don't bother with men. They deserve to be where they have to be. That's it. I'm not saying another word. thank you, Oshri. I know you're very busy, but whoever had to see you saw you. So I'm glad.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for sharing the time.
My
Oshri,
pleasure.
I will want you in sometime by August or September. And Zinud will
Okay.
be in too, because we're gonna have one of those bang out things where we'll laugh and we'll party, but we will. We will also that's gonna be my big time on the Brooklyn Bridge to rally against Donald Trump. So I'm counting you in.
Okay. That sounds good. I'd love to see you and love to meet. I don't know how many of y'all are in New York, but I'd love to meet you at that time in
Okay.
person.
And you're gonna meet them if you stay for a few minutes, you're gonna meet one of my most powerful. He is a my educational director of Lynn's kids. He is my sidekick of Saving Souls. My husband wants to go last, so I'm not discussing him. He is by far one of the most a little on the slow side. Most men are slow. Do you know a fast man? I'd like to please introduce me. Send me the email. He moves slowly, but he gets things done. That is my friend George Hakler, who also looks like I'm glad he's up. Hello there, George.
Hi, Lynn. How are you?
I'm doing better than I expected to do. Do you think that the hospital could get me down? No, I had a party every night. Okay, George, I want you to go through the same spiel. George went out to lunch with Taoufik and I, and he was very funny. He gave us this whole speech. He sounded like, what do I need Tony Robbins to have George? He was a motivational speaker who really, when I listened to what George had to say about our mayor, and don't you dare tell me any of you that our mayor is wonderful, you're in the wrong place too. So, George, we're talking about the problems, and somebody who was listening is listening for a remote thing, and you don't have to see what they're saying. The problem with me with New York is I'm seeing a lot of things I don't like. But because of the hospital, and because I'm trying to really show Lasita that I'm trying to be good and I'm trying to curb how much work I do, I'm going to let George represent me. Take it away, George.
Lynn, you are a hard act to follow.
Oh,
I will say
you can follow it, baby. Believe me. Go ahead.
Hi, Lynn. Hi, Taoufik. And hi, everyone. Good morning. Well, good afternoon to you all. And much love to you. Before I get started, I want to do a 2-minute spiel about how I met Lynn. And it was very powerful. I was advocating for a lady who was homeless in a women's shelter. This was about 10 years ago or so, I think. And I met her in the library. I was then living in Bushwick, Brooklyn, the Bushwick section of Brooklyn with my sisters and my niece. And I used to go to the library on Bushwick Avenue as you go towards Williamsburg. I can't remember the correct streets, but it was about 5 or 6 blocks from my home. And I met this lady who ironically was helping me with this young man who was from North Carolina and lived in the same city as a friend of mine down in the country who became the mayor of his hometown. But this young man knew him. But he was trying to make the transition to New York, but he seemed a little out of it. And this lady and I were helping him. And then he disappeared, and she was there all along. She told me her situation, which I could have never known, that she was homeless living in a shelter. Well, I was going to a meeting of the Black Institute, which was on Wall Street at the time.
What a bunch of wild people. Go ahead.
Yes, and Mr. Morris Haynes introduced me to Lynn and everybody that was at that meeting, including the founder of that organization, which she has founded another organization. I don't know the name of it right now. It doesn't come to mind. But the point is, I handed out essay from this lady who needed help. And I told her I was going to a community meeting of individuals that would be sensitive to her issue. And Lynn stepped front and center to help out. And she said she liked the way I advocated for the homeless, for women, for the poor. And she invited me to come with her to volunteer for the public advocate, who at the time was Miss Letitia James, our present New York Attorney General, New York State Attorney General. What was ironic about that was I knew who the public advocate was. She was the former councilwoman for the 67th district, because I used to see her, run into her all the time at Starbucks at Atlantic Terminal. And I think she might have thought two things about me, Tish, at the time, that either I was a stalker or I talked her to death whenever I would see her. We would just talk, and she's waiting on her coffee, and we'd have these 5 or 10 minute interesting conversations.
That's Tiff James. She's something else.
And then lo and behold, I meet Lynn, and who do I volunteer for as a receptionist but Tish James, and who later on had to give the green light for me to be hired but Tish James. And I met all the people. I wound up being the last volunteer in the group that either Lynn brought or other people brought. And I worked for Tish for a number of years, at least 6 or 7 years, between the Public Advocate's Office and the New York State Attorney General. So I owe Lynn a great.
Oh, stop! Am I dying? That people, I don't need a eulogy.
No, not at all. You're gonna live a long time. But I
sure
was
am,
taught.
honey. I have no intention of going anywhere.
Right, but I was taught by my parents, and in my faith belief, we give flowers to whom we give tribute and honor to whom tribute and honor is due. And I have to say that I am always a grateful person. If you give me a glass of water or a penny, I will sing your praises from now to Judgment Day. And so, you know, that's where I want to come in, talking about women's issues and saving souls, but especially as it relates to the office of the mayor of the city of New York. I'm going to start with the women's issues. What I learned from that young lady, and I don't have her name written down. I do not remember it offhand, and I apologize.
I'm going to look for it. I think I have it somewhere.
Yes, and I have it somewhere too. But what I will say about her, she was a middle-aged lady, a very nice lady, very knowledgeable and very smart, and she was helping me. And she actually was a Miss Badinsky, because I was talking to this young man. She was over listening in our conversation at the library, and she kind of inserted herself in the conversation. Of course, I didn't ask her to leave. I welcomed her help because she was giving a lot of helpful information. But what I found out with working with her is that, first of all, because I've worked in a homeless shelter as well, the needs are many and plentiful, but homeless women or women that are food insecure or housing insecure, monetarily insecure, that may be adrift or sad or displaced from their natural habitat, because she was an out-of-towner. And I think since then, she has moved back home or moved out of New York. They have feelings too. They have feelings too. And they are someone. And, you know, a lot of times we look at the homeless and we see them as faceless, aimless individuals, but they are not. They had a home. They had a mother and father, sisters and brothers. And in some cases, some had husbands and children, maybe grandchildren. But for whatever reason, something happened in life and they lost their way. But they are human beings. And they are people that God loves. And so, you know, Paul Simon is one of my greatest heroes, not just because of his music, but I don't know if you remember this, Lynn, or anyone else, but in the 1970s, after he broke off from Art Garfunkel, he founded, when they had the old welfare hotels, he had a mobile unit outside of all the welfare hotels, meeting the health needs of people who were in shelters, the homeless. And also, I just read something the other day where Richard Gere, the great actor, donated either $1 or $2 million or more to pantries around New York City.
Yes, I read the same thing.
Yes. And so what I'm saying is that what I love about Lynn's Kids and Saving Souls is, like she said, it's all about not what, as Janet Jackson said, what have you done for me lately, but how we can see the needs of those who are less fortunate than us. And when we do that, we're doing God's work. we're doing God's will, because he has no hands but ours, no mouth, no feet, no arms, no legs but ours. And so, this is the great thing about this program. Now, I want to hit on a couple of other topics and then I'll be through. And that is namely, well, I did touch on both women and the homeless. There is a homeless woman around my way, and she stands out among all the others because she really needs medical attention. She needs mental help. And what was so ironic, I ran into homeless workers on the train at 34th Street the other day, yesterday, when we were coming back from picking up my wife for her trip to Maryland over the weekend, where she ministers 2 weekends a month. So the great thing about it is there are people out there that are helping, but we need all hands on deck, as the Navy says. And then finally, I want to touch bases very lightly, but very uh, forcefully about our dear mayor, Mayor Eric Adams. Let me say this. Every human being has a value, believe it or not, good and bad.
None.
As Stevie Wonder said, and Paul McCartney in the song Ebony and Ivory back in the 80s or 90s, there's good and bad in everyone. And and then a group in the 70s made a song, People Make the World Go Round. So guess what? If everybody was like Lynn, this would be a great world. If everybody was like Miss Lasita or Mr. Oshri and all of you that are on the line, what a wonderful world it would be. However, it would not be we're living in some challenging times right now. We live in some challenging times. And when you're aloof to the feelings of others, when you are bereft of empathy and sympathy, and when you're only looking at your own bottom line, the selfishness, and the Bible talks about the rich man and Lazarus. The rich man was in purple, meaning he fared sumptuously every day. This is found in Luke in the New Testament of the King James Version of the Bible. But there was a man named Lazarus. We don't even get the rich man's name, but there was a man named Lazarus that sat at his gate begging every day. He was so sick that the dogs licked his sores. He had open wounds. And he probably had gnats flying around. And all he asked the rich man, while he was bragging in front of all his other egghead friends and elitists and rich friends, he just wanted the leftovers, the crumbs from his table. And the rich man just disrespected him and embarrassed him in front of all these people. And in the end, the rich man lifted his eyes up and he was tormented. But Lazarus had a out-of-body experience where when he died, he was escorted by two angels into the bosom of Abraham in heaven.
George, I can't hear you. Unmute yourself.
George, you muted.
Who is important to God? We never know. We can't look down on people. And if you don't understand who people are, don't condemn them. Just keep your mouth quiet.
Hallelujah.
Because first of all, you lose your blessings when you talk about people and you berate people and you harm people with your big mouth and you say things injurious that you shouldn't say. Sometimes we can talk ourselves out of blessings where people have the very intention of when God puts them on the mountaintop and we say, well, I'm going to help Sister Betty. And then Sister Betty or Brother Jimmy say something so bizarre. And now the benefactor to be changes their mind. So the best way to get in life, I found, is to always be positive, to always be uplifting, to always be kind. We have a mayor, and I happen to like this mayor, believe it or not. But however, I'm going to say this like a parent, because as parents, we have good and bad children sometimes, or we have good children that have flaws. I have good children, two good children, a son and daughter. But Lord, as I tell them all the time, I'm never going to have pretty brown, smooth knees anymore. They're going to be black like a iron pan from praying for you two knuckleheads and crumb snatchers every day of my life. I'm on my knees constantly for them, but I love them. But you know what? The way I've been able to reach them is through love, not through being critical of them, but by
Exactly.
loving them. Now, I'll say this and I'll end on this note. Our mayor is an aloof elitist. And I say that with all due respect, but he is an aloof elitist. And what's more important to him, because you see, the contrast between him and Mayor Dinkins, the similarity is they're both Black. Wonderful. For my community, that's wonderful. But that's where the comparisons end. I met Mayor Dinkins. What a gracious man. We became pen pals. And he autographed his book for me. And you couldn't meet a more gracious man. If you buy the book called A Mayor's Life and read about him, and then if you read the papers about what his wife did, you cannot find a more gracious, endearing human being. On the other hand, our mayor doesn't have real friends that will tell him the emperor is naked.
Perfect.
I have a friend, I really shouldn't say this. I don't want to get in any trouble. I'm not like
Nobody
you,
here
Lynn.
worth anything. I love to get in trouble. I wake up in the morning.
I know you're.
praying.
My new nickname for you is Teabag because you're always in hot water.
I'm always in hot.
But I say this out of love. There is a lady who has burnt her mortgage 50 years ago, and she is being
Evicted.
targeted for deed theft. And the developers that are trying to steal her property not only have help from her family, but I heard that someone high in government who we're talking about is friends with those developers and goes to Long Island and hobnobs with the powerful, the rich and famous against our own people. And so here's what I'm saying to the rich men of Luke 15 and to the persons that are big ballers and shot callers in New York City and America. You keep on stepping on the poor. You keep hurting people that are vulnerable and old or powerless. There is a day coming for you, a day of torment, a day where you're not going to be around all the people that help you to be conflicted and compromise and hurt people. You're going to be in a position that you're not, and there will be no help. Right now, in our community, we have, in my community in Crown Heights, no less than 12 convenience stores, meaning they're weed spots. Most of them are illegal, and they are putting a dent in our children for them doing anything that they dream about. It is a form of destruction. But we have a mayor in this city that's supposed to be over the city. These kids that are doing these violent crimes need music and arts and other uplifting things. Youth centers put in our communities to curtail them from the crimes they're doing. And I almost can't blame them when they're the woman that got pushed down at the Orthodox Church by a 16-year-old, the mother thinks he's a baby doll. The mother thinks he's precious. But we're raising spoiled children. We're raising children whose sport is to hurt people because they have nothing else better to do. So I'm calling on the mayor of New York City, Eric Adams, to please, sir, because I like you, put on some empathy, put on some sympathy, put on some care for our community, and put back the $2 billion in the DOE that you took out, which was not a good idea because these children are suffering. Our teachers are quitting every day because the children are off the chain, but it's because they have nothing to do. And the adults in the room are not acting like adults, but they're acting like spoiled brats who want to go out and hobnob and have tea and crumpets with the rich and famous like our mayor and forget about the least amongst us. I'm done. I'm done.
Oh,
I'm
you're
done. Thank you
wonderful.
for
Thank
this.
you for representing me.
Thank
I
you for
can't think
this
of
moment.
anyone I would rather have represent
Thank
me.
you.
Okay, and
Thank
Will
you.
and George, I just want you to all know that Will and George wrote for the sort of thousands of other people. Will and George wrote for the homeless. Mr. Rights visits the homeless hotel, volume 3. It'll be out tomorrow. I'm no longer giving out free copies. You want a copy? Order on it. All social from now on. I'm not going to write beautiful people. Forgive me. The person who gave me that title didn't write for my book. What I'm writing is only social justice books. I've decided that's how I'm going to spend it. And by the way, Mr. Gordon Tapper, who's sitting there like his educated self, my friend George Hagler could use a job in the UN school and any school you know. So do your thing, honey. It's not like getting to Christine what she needs. So I depend on you. And I'd love you, the next time you come here for dinner, I'd love for you to hear what this brilliant man has to say.
Will
Okay.
do. Thank you. God bless you both. Thank you all.
Now, just for 2 minutes, I want Kristin Lerner. Kristin, unmute yourself. I know you're busy with somebody. Are you here, Kristin?
Yes,
Okay,
I'm in the middle of doing something.
Okay, I understand that you're busy, but this is very important. I want you to give a 3-minute soliloquy on what Saving Souls did for you. 1, 2, 3. Bing.
Well, Saving Souls has done so much for me. The support that I needed during my rough times was just to the top. It was amazing, and I couldn't thank you anymore for that. And really, I'm just really blessed and thankful for Saving Souls.
Well, look what you've done. Explain what you've done for yourself. Some of these people weren't here for the beginning of the meeting. I know this has nothing to do with saving. This has to do. Saving Souls has helped thousands of people. The problem is that they don't continue with the help. Whereas,
Okay, well, so I was homeless, basically living in my car, and I was addicted to drugs, and so I made a change. I decided that this is not the life I want to live. I have 5 beautiful children, and I wasn't being the mother that I could be and the person I could be for that matter. So I decided to get some help. I went into a rehab for about 3 months, and that helped me a lot. And then I just progressed with my recovery. I went to sober living, and I had a lot of support from my mom. And also Lynn was very supportive too. And I did what I had to do, just put one foot in front of the other and just continued on. I didn't pick up, and I just started building my life again. And it's amazing. I'm graduating from my alcohol and drug studies. So I'm going to be a drug and alcohol counselor so I can help others that are struggling. Yes. And I'm so happy about that because I'm being of service, and I'm helping others that are struggling with the same things I struggled with. So, I can have so much empathy and compassion and yet support for them because I have a lot of experience in that. So, I know where they're coming from, and I can help guide them as much as possible. Really, it's a personal journey. Like, I had to be ready and willing to do this. And,
right.
because if I wasn't, then I wouldn't have changed. So I'm just so grateful that, there was a time that I was done, because now we have a beautiful life. My kids are doing wonderfully, and I'm just back to the person that I was a long time ago before I started using drugs and alcohol, and I'm just so grateful for that. And I just want to be of service and just help as many people as possible. I just would like to reach them and just help bless their lives in any way I can. So thank you so much for that.
Love you. Okay, so what's going to happen here in October? New York is never going to have. First of all, Kristin's kids is going to be stationed in California, and her brother and her mother and mother's husband. They'll all fund that because that's not going to be a big deal. When Kristin, all we need is money. All she needs is money for projects that will help children and women. It's not anything that's huge funding. When she gets to New York, to the Big Apple with Lynn, George, and Taoufik, we are going to have something special called the Gab. I can't wait. And it's going to happen in October, November. I'll be through with my recoup. I'm actually almost through. Don't get nervous, Lorena. I'm teasing. I will be through with my recuperation by August. I'm a fast mover. I don't have time for pity parties. So Gabby will come. That's her daughter, Kristin's daughter. And Lynn and Taoufik and George will run the Gabby bus. And children that need help from different parts of Brooklyn, George, we're going to get a lot of your people who you feel need help, a lot of young kids. We're going to get them on a bus that we're going to hire from New York. We will get the funding for that because I intend to get it. Nobody says no to me. I'm not asking them to fund a third world country. I'm just asking them to make a day pleasant for the kids of the parents who have screwed up and are trying to do better. And on that bus will be us having a good time because I'm worse than any kid. I live for this bus ride because I can't wait. I have a house full of stuff waiting for Miss Gabby. Miss Gabby at the time was an infant, and what makes the story wonderful is that Grandma Vicky, and she's here, Grandma Vicky came in and saved the day by taking Gabby. She saved her life. And I know that Victoria does not always like to speak. I just like you, Victoria, to say 3 or 4 words about how it feels seeing the new and improved. Are you there, Vicky? Unmute yourself. Okay, she might not be there. I'm not 100% sure. I see her name, so I don't see why she's not. But Vicky came in and saved the day, and I have only wonderful things. I work with her. We work with counseling for Kristin. Now this little girl is having a life, and whenever I speak to her, she throws kisses, and I'll get her crazy when she comes in here. We'll have a real good time. And Gordon, you could bring grandchildren, children, anything. We'll get as many kids that need help in New York on this Gabby bus, and we will have a fundraiser. Forgive me, but I'm taking All Souls Church. You know why? Because I can depend on All Souls Church. All Souls Church, I have done my best at All Souls Church because I feel God there. I can't afford St. Patrick's Cathedral, but I will take All Souls Church. And because that, every Monday night, they have what I call a session of homelessness and dignity. They serve the homeless, but not the way that the Bowery Mission served. I've been in every soup kitchen in the world, not to eat, unfortunately, but although I could have. I've been there to help. All Souls, you're given a speech before you serve. I love. If you can't serve with a smile for every homeless person leaves, this is the time. You are told flowers must be on the table. You are nothing more today than waitresses and waiters, and you are out there to make them feel good. If you cannot feel that you want to associate with the homeless, leave now. First, I was affronted. I said, gee, that's a negative way. But I saw some of the way that some of these highfalutin people were acting, and he was 100% right. If I was younger, I'd be there every week. Now, for me to travel, I'm doing all remote projects or projects that are Lynn's kids or Saving Souls. And I don't have to walk out of my pajamas. It really feels good. Yes, George.
What is it called? Homelessness and what?
It's called All Souls Church, and it's dignity. It's poverty with dignity.
Homelessness and dignity. Thank you.
You're right. It's poverty with. I'll tell you that next time I see you. I'll give you a whole list of things. What they do is they serve the homeless, but they don't just serve the homeless like the Bowery Mission, who flings food at them. You have to work in that place. That's degrading. But in any case, they serve the homeless with an air of "I love you and I care about you." At every table, you see a beautiful vase with flowers. Then there's a whole thing of oh, there's my Mubarak.
Hey, hello.
Hi, sweetheart. And
Hello, baby.
yeah, I'm getting into trouble. He calls me BB. He calls me
BB.
okay, we're gonna stop in 2 minutes. He'll explain more. He calls me BB, and Gordon's gonna love this. And that's really what's okay. So now we're gonna stop, and you're gonna love this, George. This place is wonderful. Okay, so here is my Mubarak. Not anybody else's Mubarak. He has introduced me to the most whacked out man in my life, and has ruined my life single-handedly, even though he said he loved me. Now, you couldn't have loved me because my hair is gray because of one of your stupid friends, and the other one is a terrorist to begin with. So what I want from you, Mubarak, is tell everybody why you call me Blondie Bomb.
Because you're a bomb. You detonate at any time. Easier to explain. Easier to explain that you are a bomb and you are Blondie. So everybody should be
that Gordon
aware
calls me Blondie Bomb because I detonate. Men that cause me to detonate, Mubarak. Men like
detonate. Yeah, detonate at any time.
Anytime. He knows when the
Yes.
minute he came back into my life, because I wasn't talking to him for the last thing that he called from me. The minute that he came back into my life, within 6 minutes, I detonated and wrote a letter to people that is a letter second to none. And I'm going to frame that letter and send it to Washington, D.C., because that was my best. Okay, Mubarak, since you're here, I would like you to talk about the one that Mubarak Agador is from Beni Malal, Morocco. Now, most of us have never heard of that place. I'm married to a wonderful Moroccan man.
We have
So you tell
oranges in Beni Malal. Yeah, we still have oranges here. No?
Isn't that just, I don't want your oranges. I want to hear about the things you do for women. He does wonderful things for women and children.
I detonate on.
You do not. Go ahead. This is the most unbelievable
really,
man I ever met.
I visited, do you remember when we visited cooperatives of ladies who live in rural areas, and they prepare things like weaving, like carpets and things to cover the beds and so on, bed covers. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
They also produce kind of couscous, which is like they say popular meal in Morocco, and they sell it in packets like this. So they work together in cooperatives, and they try to, let's say, find funds and to find people to help them commercialize their products. There are a lot of cooperatives in the nearby areas here, because the place is kind of a rural place, and women are not educated, you know, but they have to find an income for themselves, for their families, for their kids. That's why they try to work together, and we encourage them to create cooperatives, to produce things, to work with their hands, of course, and to find an income to help themselves and their families.
And tell them what you did with children. This man did so many good things. That's how I met him, through Taoufik, because the only good thing that happened to me through him. Otherwise, he introduced me to men that were famous. Only good thing he is that me to he didn't actually introduce me. I met Taoufik on my own. But on the other side of the spectrum, Mubarak did wonderful work with children. Go ahead, tell them a little bit about the work you did with kids.
Yeah, here in with children, we generally organize, let's say, field trips and excursions to orphanages. Do you remember when you came with Vinod and so on? So we generally take kids, they fundraise, they buy things, and we go together to visit orphans in orphanages. We buy things, we take them some presents, like toys, like clothes, like food, like anything they need, supplies to maintain their orphanages. Okay, we do it regularly, especially for two main orphanages. What is it called? Bab al-Khair, the gate of kindness or something like this. And the Beit Bahia is one of the kids who passed away because of the conditions. Yeah, so the orphanage was named after her.
Okay, thank you. Other than I want to tell you, do wonderful things, so I forgive you for ruining my life. And I'll try not to detonate until tomorrow. How about that?
so I'm lucky. I'm lucky if you can put off your detonation till tomorrow. Then I'm lucky. Okay.
You're gonna see some really insane people. You're now going to be introduced to a man who you probably would have introduced me to, because he's the craziest person I know.
No, really?
Next to your ex-friend, who was Mr. Insanity, ready for the institution, and he introduces me to him. Okay, so we don't have to mention his name. Everybody here knows it. I am going to introduce you to Mr. Denzel. No, I'm introducing you to Will Agee, who's a friend of Denzel. No, George, he is not a friend. Denzel just contributed to his one thing. This is the people I know. Will, they're all nuts. Will is by far one of the biggest philanthropists I know. Will, tell them a little bit about yourself and the wonderful thing, not Denzel, and the wonderful things you do for other people. Hit it, Will. Unmute yourself, Will. You're muted, Will.
Will. Waiting
Well,
for you.
mute yourself.
Actually, it isn't
Oh,
a matter
He's
of
not muted.
he.
He
he-
just doesn't
okay.
have audio.
Okay, works.
Problem.
Go ahead. It works. Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
good.
Can't hear him.
Neither can I.
Lasita, can you
Will's muted.
Lasita, can you activate his micro from your dashboard? No. Okay.
No, it's not a matter of my computer. It's in his.
Oh, okay. Okay.
He's
How about
not
now?
muted.
Got
That's
it. We
great.
got
Go
you,
ahead.
honey. Okay.
That's great. Yeah, go ahead, brother.
Hallelujah. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Will Edgy. I'm Shepherd, God Grace Outreach Ministry International. And I lead by being the light in the world as we are called to be to one another. And from that care in my heart, I go out, I feed people in the streets, I give them temporary housing, I buy food, I buy clothing, I do donations from my own closets and anybody else who will donate to me. We also do the underwear. That's one of my favorite ones because a lot of the homeless people have said that people donate clothes, but they don't have socks. They don't have underwear.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
So that is one of my things that I take what funds I can acquire, buy that, and donate those things to Salvation Army, Alpha Project, San Diego Rescue Mission, any place that can help people in that capacity. All right.
He does wonderful things.
Because
Yes.
because the dollar is so high in quite a few places, I'm able to also start feeding programs or sponsor them in the Philippines and parts of Africa that I can buy school supplies, feed people, help them with school uniforms and all things of those nature. That's pretty much it in a nutshell. That's the condensed version.
And he drives Lynn, and he drives
Yeah,
Lynn
yeah.
crazy too, so that's fine. Will is a crazy man who does such wonderful things. And yes, George, he did get a donation from Denzel, but he does not know him. So we're gonna but Denzel Washington actually did contribute. And no, Mubarak, Will didn't look to introduce me to another psycho. Okay, so
Yeah, a
only
lot.
Mubarak, he saves that for me. Okay,
Who is he?
so Mubarak is a dear friend of mine who disappeared from my life because he's nuts too. He looks like a nut. He also, I think, Mubarak, did you work for Microsoft?
Yes, in fact, I got certified from Microsoft years ago. Then I became a trainer, MI, it's called Master Innovative Education Trainer. So I just do things like trainings for teachers and how to use, how to integrate information and communication technologies in teaching, how to teach with like Flipgrid, how to use like Kahoot, for example, and like gamification tools in teaching. So I generally try to help this. I participate in some, let's say, conferences, especially with TESOL. In 2017, I got the International Award for Professional Development, and I went to Seattle where I got the award. So at the TESOL 2017.
Okay.
Yeah, that was, yes. So
Wonderful.
yeah,
That's what he does.
Professional
That's what he
development.
does in his life, other than when he's trying to ruin mine. Okay, so now we're going to now we're going to just. I'm leaving the last speaker for last. He thinks he's a movie star. He didn't want to talk to last. I don't understand why, but this man is not dealing with a full deck either. I don't know anybody who's normal. Let me introduce my husband, the late and great, because if I haven't killed him by now, I won't. I don't take a shopping list. You want a shopping list? Lena. I don't know where I got Lena from, but I answered almost any name. Lena, do me a favor and give me a shopping list. You know how I forget things. He doesn't look at my shopping list, so why do I have to give it to him? But in any case, Taoufik, I wouldn't be alive now if it wasn't for him. Am I ready to kill him? Yes, I am. Do I feel about him like I feel about most men? No, because he's better. But I have my moments with him. And the other day, he's lucky he wasn't out the window. Right now, he's here, and he's a wonderful worker. He is a video expert. So if you ever need a video and you're willing to pay, the man does it. This we don't do for free. He is also a technological genius.
and he sets up websites. He wanted to be last, so we're going to give Hollywood Harry, as I call him, the opportunity to come last. Go hit him, Hollywood Harry. Go ahead.
Are we not going to hear? Are we not
Yeah.
going to hear? Lynn, are we not going to hear from Gordon?
Yeah, I prefer
Leaving
Gordon.
Gordon. No, I'm leaving Gordon for
Let
last.
Gordon speak first. Lynn,
Listen to me,
love you.
boss man. I'm leaving.
I'm not
Gordon
a
is here. Gordon is here to
Gordon
observe.
first.
I'm
Love you.
leaving Gordon for last. Talk, Taoufik.
Okay. Hello everyone. Miss you all.
Hello.
Lynn's Kids organization and Saving Souls Rooms Network started, years ago. Lynn, I guess 13 or 12 years. And guess what? The idea of Lynn's Kids organization came from Sierra Leone. An African friend of my beloved Lynn, he was just maybe a student in those groups. And he had, because that guy was really a great, I don't say activist, but great worker who.
He was a great actor, right?
Yeah, he was active. He suggested for Lynn to create this Lynn's Kids organization. By the way, Africa now, we deal with many African partners thanks to this first, creation of Lynn Kids organization from Africa. Why I say that? Just we are lucky to have now, people all around. We have from Bangladesh, India, Morocco, a lot of people here in US, Pakistan, India. So we have the idea to set this website that I have developed with the help of a Moroccan young guy who is a developer. We want to give him, the chance to do something international, and he was paid for that. And now we have the version of Lynn's Kids and Saving Souls Women's Network. Before we had a website that I developed myself as amateur, only for Lynn's Kids, but now we have a professional website with new, technology, IT stuff, and we mixed Lynn's Kids organization and Saving Souls Women's Network. We want to spread the spirit of Lynn's Kids and a woman's Saving Soul Women through this website to reach more people all around the world. We started to have many people dealing with us, with non-profits. We don't get a penny from what we work for, or our connecting people for through social causes. But our main aim, me and Lynn, and of course all of people who joined us, everyone, we wanted to let this activity and social work be spreading all around. So a website with professional development was necessary for that. And I will share the link later on, but we focus on three things. First, to connect people from different continents. Thanks God, we have people in Africa, we have people, of course, in USA, we have people in Asia, we have people in Europe, we have, not all of Europe, but France, especially with a great women's empowerment, Mrs. Joan Pons. And thanks God, we did that website with, links. We didn't do too much information because anyone who just come and check a website, he doesn't, feel comfortable to see a lot of, we just put 4 links. We focused on the description of our 2 organizations and what's the aim for our activity, and especially kids and women's health. This is the main object for the site. And we added, Lynn is an author. She writes books from a long time ago, and she is good at that. So Lynn published through Amazon, and we thought about why not the books that Lynn writes, and I do some books with her. Why not just sell them on Amazon? Why not show them and sell them through our website? So we have the idea to create and to put in this link, ebooks that will be put in the website and sold through the website, and it works. So the earnings from this book are, we don't get a penny. We invest them. We just started because we don't make money.
For causes.
Yeah, for causes especially. We give to causes we work for. So now the version is open, and everyone can go there and check. At the same time, we added a donation button. Why donation button? In general, donating online is seems quite I don't say negative, but in American culture, it's something that people love and work for. So many people here, Americans especially, have the culture of donating, of helping people in need. So and I don't think so. All over the world, this donation culture is spread like here. But we explained why we ask for donations. We explained that our earnings will be invested in different fields, and thanks God we succeeded to get donations through this website when I was starting, and the books also start selling, and we try our best to put this money, even everyone start from scratch. We are starting from scratch, but it works. The last a point with this website is we have free membership. We put a link to let people not only watch websites, or they can join, they can have their own page. You can go and make subscription, and you can have your own website, and you can spread, you can add, you can chat. We put a chat room too. All these just to spread Lynn's Kids and Saving Souls Women's Network. And, let it easy for everyone to help and connect.
Okay, so you can type that on the thing so they can see the website, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Taoufik. I would like to end the meeting to hear from Mr. Gordon. I am so important. He is my he's from the UN, but I love him anyway. He is my sort of like a consultant for me. When I have to do something and he knows the crazy side of me. He knows the normal side. I'm going to tell you a Gordon story that I love. When I was invited to a meeting, it was a long time ago with your brothers. It was my brother from another mother, Mrs. Najik, who I haven't spoken to in about 2 years. I was invited to come to this meeting, which was near UN Plaza. And I come to the meeting. There was one white person there. I'm not the only one. And Mohammed Nur Hassan said, anybody can find Lynn here. She stands out. Oh, I got so hysterical laughing. I remember that because nobody, the problem with New York, yes, we are a racist place, and everybody who says we aren't is a moron. I don't care if you're black, white, pink, or purple. If you are doing the right thing, I will support you. It's not about what color you are. These two, the big two, Gordon and Sadiq, who I haven't spoken to, they, both of them, I've gone to mosques, I've gone here, I've gone there, because it depends on what can we do for the kids. I don't want to look good. Gordon, who does a lot more than I do because he has his own group, he doesn't want to look good either. What we want to do is to help others, and that is our mission. Okay, go ahead, Gordon.
Hello, everyone.
Look at that smile.
I'm really happy to be here. I'm really happy to be here with you all, and very impressed with what you all have done, are doing. I I want George to know that back in when Letitia James was running for her first office, I supported the candidacy of Ambassador Siddiq White. I was
Wow.
one managers.
I almost got killed because of that.
but we lost, of course, but we were very happy. And Siddiq really wanted to run because he was one of the first Africans in New York City who tried to win public office. And that has, since then, that has set off a number of Africans in New York to run for public office, which I think is a good thing.
Except
so,
Eric.
right. So, yes, I a former chief of section at the United Nations and had a career of service in that capacity. I was the organizer of the elections when Mandela won in KwaZulu Natal. I was based in Durban. My own organization, Give Them a Hand Foundation and United African Congress were the first organizations that hosted an event here in New York, in the United States, on the Ebola outbreak in 2014. And we also hosted an awareness-raising event in the UN General Assembly Hall, and encouraging member states to donate to 3 countries, Liberia, Syria. But I don't want to talk too much about those. I will just mention what I've been doing this year. During the, you probably know that for 2 weeks in March, the United Nations hosts a conference called the Commission on the Status of Women, where women from all over the world come, and their organizations. This year, there were over 20,000 women who came from around the world to the UN and attended meetings within the UN and within the United Nations community, different facilities outside. I was able to, first of all, I'm a huge supporter of gender equity, and in all forms. And so I hosted an event for the Turkey about empowering women and girls and preparing them for leadership positions in public life, in politics, in etc. I also hosted an event, organized an event, a project that myself and my group are working on, and which was introduced to me by Lynn. And we call the project Kenya Cares. It is
I live to see this happen. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, it was a project that we are supportive of the women in Kakamega County in Kenya.
Oh,
and these women are suffering so many injustices. First of all, HIV/AIDS is prevalent, and they're very poor. They can't take their antiretroviral because they can't take it on an empty stomach, and there are terrible things happening with them. A woman who transmits HIV/AIDS to their unborn baby or to their child will go to jail. And so penalties that are imposed on women are not imposed on men. Many of these women who their husband died, their family just come down and take away the land and their inheritance. And so there are so many things that's going on there. We are working on a project. I have to thank Lynn and Taoufik for bringing us together.
Love that.
We just got a donation of 100,000 condoms.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Right, to help with the situation regarding HIV/AIDS. We're not just sending condoms. We are working with people to provide counseling. Behavioral change is important. We have a lot of abuse of young girls, abuse even in the homes by fathers and by relatives. And Kristin has taken them and she's protecting them. We need to support her. We're going to be
That's
supported
right.
with agriculture as well. They grow arrowroot and they grow sweet potato. We're arranging for them to acquire land. And so that is one thing I'm doing. I also am working with another group in the Gambia, and it's called Africa Feeding Africa. And the reason for that is what gave us the idea is that so many African countries began to suffer because of the war in Ukraine and Russia, and because Ukraine could not ship grain to them. So we began developing this project, Africa Feeding Africa. We're working with the Gambia, and we are going to launch this on World Food Day, which is on October 16th.
Oh, my favorite date. That's my date, 17th.
Oh, okay.
That's Lynn's
Right.
Day. We call it in New York Lynn's Day.
Yeah, all right. We're going to launch it then, and we're hoping to be able to get a lot of support for, in any event, with regard to the agriculture in the Gambia, feeding themselves. We have donors who are willing to support them in the production of rice, which is their staple crop, and it's their highest grossing gross national product. The other thing I'm working on, and this is going to be on June 12th, the state parties to the Convention on the Rights of People with Disabilities.
If you need any help with that one, count me in, because I still have people.
Okay.
I counsel people in the hospital who are disabled because there weren't enough people there to help them. So what does that tell you?
All right, we can talk about that. The convention, the state parties, the signatories, which are 127 countries, the US hasn't signed, will be meeting in New York from the 11th to the 13th. And I'm going to be working with Sierra Leone, if they've asked me to do this, and I'm putting together events for them. Now, I want this event to be something very special. I do a lot of events in the UN conference rooms, and this one is not going to be in a conference room. I'm doing this on the plaza, outdoor.
Oh, I love that.
It's going to be. It's going to have musical performances by people with disability, instrumental and singing. There's going to be a fashion show by disabled designers and even by blind models.
Oh, how wonderful.
Yes, right. We want to show inclusiveness, that everybody still needs to be part. Also have disabled dances. So, I mean, I have looked at it and I've seen it, and it's worthy of being in this event. There will also be speakers who are talking about what their countries are. We have Sierra Leone, we have India, and Syria just asked to be a part of this. So we are going to have a big event, maybe about 2 hours on the plaza, promoting people with disabilities and showing that they can do. So those are some of the things I'm doing at the moment. And in all of this, we're supporting gender equity.
And that's the most important thing.
Right. Let me show you. Let me show you something. 1 second.
This man is a very generous, wonderful man, Gordon Tapper. We not only work with him, but we also, he has been a friend, a helper, and just a wonderful human being. Oh, what is a red card? Tell me, is that like Target? No, red card is Target.
This red card is a project that we have launched in several countries.
Wonderful. Tell us about it.
In the Women's World Cup in New Zealand and Australia recently, etc. And we're partnering with FIFA, and you can see some of the organizations that we partner with. This is an anti-violence against women card. And we take this from the world of soccer, where when you commit a violation, when you foul someone, the referee shows you the red card. It means out of the game. All right?
Wonderful,
Love
yeah.
it. I absolutely love
Good
it.
Have this red
initiative,
card
yeah.
campaign as well.
Mm.
So,
Okay, you're doing good work, Gordon.
thank you. Thank you.
I like
So-
what you're doing.
All right, Lynn.
And count us
you
in
know-
for when it
and-
comes.
and
Count
you
George,
know-
Taoufik, and I for Saving Souls will be there for that. I can
All
still
right.
dance. And as
Very
far as
good.
helping the disabled, thanks to Mubarak, I might be mentally disabled. But as far as helping other disabled, yeah. I'd like you to hook up with Gordon. I'm going to send you an email to meet Mubarak. Mubarak works with women. I think you'd be very interested to learn this man. I'm not going to tell him about the true side of
Absolutely.
you. I think that Mubarak works with women's groups and children's groups in Beni Malal, Morocco. Taoufik, remind me to send that email and they can hook up with each other.
Anyone
Absolutely.
here?
Just one thing. Sorry to interrupt
Fine.
you. Sorry to interrupt you. Just wanted to tell you about a project we worked on recently with the American Embassy in Morocco. It was about empowering 125 girls, rural girls. So we have here in the region, we have 5 provinces, and we worked with 25 girls from each province. So the total is 125. We trained them to create cooperatives. We trained them to on the women's rights. I mean, they are empowered to know all their rights towards men, towards the government, all the rights they have. Okay, we work on that with them for 6 months, of course, with the funding of the American Embassy in Rabat.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
it was
fantastic.
great.
I'll
Yeah,
send
it
that
was a great
email out and you can
project.
talk to each other because I believe in both of you.
Right.
I
thank
forgive,
you.
By the way,
I forgive you, Mubarak. Okay, I forgive you.
No,
Okay.
I forgive you. I am the one to forgive you.
I have to tell you, this man, this Mubarak, Gordon, has your sense of humor, mine, and Taufik's, and he made me as crazy as I am today. I was never this crazy before I met my Mubarak.
Okay, that's fine. At least I did something to you.
Do you see that?
good.
Okay, it's running late. Yes, Taufik, what did you want to say? Unmute yourself, Taufik. Unmute yourself. I can't hear you.
Yes, Mubarak. Lynn always mentioned that the man who played
A
name
life.
for me, Blondie Bomb. She doesn't
Yeah.
stop mentioning this all the way. Blondie Bomb.
Okay,
Yeah,
and this
sure.
man helped
I
me learn
did.
how to detonate.
I
So Mubarak and Gordon, I'm going to send out the letter. And Gordon, I expect you to do something for my friend George, get him hooked up in some school in New York. George is my left hand, my right hand, my every hand. Taufik does my web and all that other stuff. George and I are into the educational. Without Taufik, we wouldn't have the web. We wouldn't get the donations that we're getting. Without George and Lynn, we wouldn't be in the streets fighting with everybody there is to fight for the people of New York. So I expect, Gordon, for you to do your thing, and everybody else that came here, thank you. It's the longest meeting we've had, probably the most fruitful. So I want to
Thank
thank
you
you all,
very much. Yeah.
and I will send you all reminders.
Okay,
Gordon,
thank
when are
you
you
very much.
coming for dinner? When are you coming in to New York? Gordon.
Gordon.
Okay, maybe he doesn't hear me. I'll send it in the email.
I'm here. I'm here.
Okay, when are you
I'm
coming?
here now.
When are you coming into New York?
I think it will be the 27th or 28th of this month.
Oh,
I'll be
okay,
around
good.
for about a week.
And that's too close.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you come for dinner and you can meet my friend George.
That would be nice.
Yeah, I would like
That
that.
would be
Gordon. I've
nice.
only
Looking
asked you
forward
1,000
to it.
times.
Okay.
Looking
Thank
forward
you
to
for
it.
helping my friend Kristin.
Oh, and by the way, I should add that with the agricultural project we're talking about, it is mainly rural women in agriculture.
That's
we
why I
want
want to hook
support.
you up with Mubarak, because that's perfect. What a combo.
Hopefully.
Okay, everyone, thanks again. Love you all, and I'll speak to you soon.
Okay.
And especially
Thank you.
Lasita, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
And
Lasita. I
nice
know
to
Liz
meet
has to
See you,
talk.
Lasita.
Nice
all
to
you.
meet
Thank you,
you.
guys.
Bye,
Board
everyone.
member.
Derek, I will detonate if you start with me. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Bye. See you.
Bye.
Yeah, goodbye. Goodbye,
Bye,
everyone.
everyone.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye. See you.